Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is a Real Talk episode 2. As you know, it is with RAWAL and BHARG. But before we get to the podcast, I quickly want to talk about how it happened and why it happened. Now, if you follow the journey on the channel, you know that I first discovered the album a few months ago when I was introduced to one of the first tracks. And then thanks to your DMs and your requests, decided to explore the entire album. And it quickly became very evident to me that this is a very unique album in that it's not genres, it's not one genre specific. It's an amalgamation of a lot of different sounds and vibes, and it's just a very unique work of art. So that was very evident. The other thing that was evident was that it's come at a very good time because the landscape is changing almost on a daily basis. And while back in the day, there was so much importance given to film music, we're slowly starting to move away from that. And a lot of independent music and non-film music is taking center stage. And in a time like this, an album like this is so important because it not just gives the audiences, a taste of what is possible. It also sets a very good example for aspiring musicians that, hey, we can create non-formulaic music and it will work. So I was just very curious to have this conversation with the two of them. And as you can see from the length of this podcast, I have a lot of questions for them because I really, really wanted to talk about this album in detail and not just every song and the making of every song, but I also wanted to talk about who are RAWAL and BHARG and what their journey has been up until this point. And trying to understand all of that is what makes up this conversation. So I know it is long, but I encourage you to watch it in its entirety because just like everyone will find a flavor in the Sab Chahiye album that they will like, I think everyone will find something in this conversation that they will take away and think about later, whether you're a music enthusiast, whether you're an aspiring musician, or whether you're just someone who is curious about the process of creativity. So I'll end with that. And without further ado, let's just get into the conversation. Thank you again, RAWAL and BHARG, for taking the time and patiently answering all my gazillion questions. So here we go, Real Talk, episode 2 with RAWAL and BHARG. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's another episode of Real Talk, and this time it's with RAWAL and BHARG. Woohoo! Hey guys.
Yay.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
एकदम बढ़िया. So चल रहा है.
Likewise.
Yes. All well.
It's daytime, so your energy levels are like thoda niche, but that's hopefully they'll get up during the interview.
Not gender vibes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So you guys, I think you've seen some of the reactions to your songs on my channel, if not all. I hope you enjoyed them.
All of
I know
them.
there's okay, because I know we missed
Definitely
a
all
lot.
of them.
We were trying to interpret as
नहीं.
much as we could. लेकिन क्या होता है, reaction करते time we're like, whatever is first coming at us, we talk about that. And then offline, I discover so much more when I go back to listening to the songs again. So I'm going to try and cover all those aspects that have been bubbling in my mind with regards to your album. But before all that, the most serious and most important question: how does it feel to have inspired Drake's new album cover?
I don't know, man. He's just been like biting off of people for so long, and now we're our target, his new target.
मतलब वो हिंदुस्तान तक पहुंच गए हैं.
What a
I know,
parasite, bro.
Drake is
Definitely
our inspiration.
What were your first thoughts when you saw that?
Just like we did first.
It was like this is our ghost artwork. He has ghost writers and he has ghost artworks also now.
Ghost designers.
Ghost designers, man.
Poor guy. He's been getting crap for that for so long. But speaking of the album cover, you guys, did you toss a coin whose face would be there 8 times and whose face 7 times?
That
was such a huge.
That was just Can you imagine our fucking album tracklist is according to the artwork, and people think that this is some sort of a genius move, the tracklist and the placing of it. But it's
it's just the artwork.
It was just random. It was just the most randomest thing. So we were like, all right, ये चेहरे हमारे लग चुके हैं.
हाँ
अब गाने कौन से कहाँ डालना है तो हम वो कर रहे
और इस चेहरे के हिसाब से ये वाला गाना आ रहा है और वो अपना सीक्वेंस बैठ गया है, तो अब वही वाला गाना ट्रैक लिस्ट में भी जाएगा। तो अगर मतलब
the only thing that was only 3 songs are fixed. चाहिए सब चाहिए एंड आगे और ऊपर बीच में रहेगा, चाहिए सब नीचे रहेगा और सब चाहिए ऊपर रहेगा. That was the only thing that was fixed. And उसके नीचे हम बस भर रहे थे गानों को कि भरो.
So then how did it go? Horizontally or vertically? The placement?
Left to right.
Horizontally. Left to right.
Okay, fine. Cool. So, all right, before we talk about the album, there's a lot I want to get into. I just want to, there was a lot of Googling I did to dig up stuff on you guys to see where you come from, your past and all of that. But there's very less on Google, I have to be honest. So I want to hear from you, your early sort of background, where you've landed on the music scene from, what your early influences were and stuff like that. Bharg, you want to go first?
Okay, so since I'm the youngest one, so my experience as compared is like very less as compared to Rahul. But I started doing music in school only when I picked up a guitar and stuff. So I learned how to play guitar online because I was like very into metal music and all of that. So metal rock is like the first thing that I was into. And from there, I went on to listening to hip hop in like 8th and 9th, and like I think 7th I heard Smack That, and then I went on to like listen to like a lot more songs in hip hop, and then like everybody, Eminem is that like go-to person. So it's the same thing, and there was a lot of like listening to hip hop, and then this electronic scene came into like it became a huge wave.
It did.
And then Skrillex came, and then I was like very into dubstep because it was like really close to metal in electronic music. So because it's all screeching and loud music, so and a lot of growls. So I also was into that, and then I searched how he makes those kind of sounds. So in around 11th, 12th, I got like introduced to FL Studio and all of those things. Then I started learning how to like make music on my own. And then in college I went because I went to Hindu, so that's where a lot of like my training came into place, where I learned about like vocals and harmonies and music theory, and built my base over there because I was in the Western Music Society for Hindu. So that's where they taught me all of. So that's where they kind of like I picked up stuff from a lot of my seniors over there because they're all classically trained and like very and performing and doing performance music everywhere, somewhere around the world or some such like that. So it was a great exposure that way.
They were classically, you mean Hindustani or Western classical?
So Hindustani, I was also in the Indian Music Classical Society, but I wasn't actively there. I was more into Western, but I got a few information from there to learn my base. And mostly I was there in Western Music Society, so a lot of them are Western musical, classically trained, Western classically trained. So a lot of them helped me like understand music better. And then of course it was mostly like a lot of hit and trial. To be very honest, it still is hit and trial right now as well.
I mean, it always is.
Yeah, so nothing's for certain in making music. So I mean, that's how it's been. And then of course Rahul Bhaiya, met him, and then made the album, and now we're.
You were also a debater, no? National level debater.
Yeah, I used to debate a lot.
You don't look like a. You don't look like.
We've had debates
the brunt
all
of
night.
it. Yeah. We've had 4 or 5 hours of debate, 30 minutes of music.
Oh my God. See, Raval's just like, oh, why was he a debater? Tell me about you, Raval.
Yeah, about me, I just started liking hip hop music when I first listened to like Mockingbird by Eminem on a CD player. You remember those CD players?
Discman.
Discman, one of those. So I just, my cousin came to my place and he just had this CD which had like all these songs burned, and I was like, what the fuck is this? My head just exploded all of a sudden. I heard Mockingbird and I hadn't heard anything like it before. So I was just fascinated then.
How old were you?
So I was probably in 9th, 10th at the time, very young. So yeah, I started digging hip hop, started listening to stuff. I used to even go to a cyber cafe and like check out hip hop videos and football freestyle videos and all of that shit way back. So that got to me really heavy, the whole hip hop bug, and just loose clothes and everything. I remember some of our seniors used to wear like really loose clothes and they were into hip hop, and I remember that was like the coolest shit that I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, yo, this is just, I can't even tell you how cool I think this is. So like the whole thing, like it was just infectious from start. But like I just started writing songs. It wasn't even a song. I was just fucking around with my friends, and we used to call ourselves like Dope Gang or something in school. Some really dumb, childish shit. But we made this rap, and we called Dope Gang, and I used to rap that, and just stupid shit. So after that, I started listening to music a lot more, and my influences also grew. I'm not trained at all. I'm like zero formal training. All the training that I have is just because of the music that I listen to. And ever since I was young, I always was like gravitating towards different types of music. I mean, I used to love hip hop, but then once I started listening to like Linkin Park or like some indie band or like some jazz, like fucking Julie London or something, like I was just like, yo, I would always like everything, but I would always have these ideas of combining them, but I didn't know anybody who could do it and who had the same sort of mindset. So I used to feel like pretty alone when it came to that. But like I also started this band thing called Collided Dimensions when I was in like 11th, 12th in my school. So we had like 4 people, a guitarist, a beatboxer, a female vocalist, and I was the rapper. So we had like some covers.
Oh, wow.
I used to always write. Yeah, we covered like Pardon Me by Incubus. We covered some more songs. I can't remember. But like I always used to write my own rap still though. But the hook was like covers and all of that shit. But like that didn't work out. I remember that I used to like really work hard towards that. And people were just like, from my band, were just like... they were just having fun, and I was just
they were like, yeah, that's not serious.
Yeah, I was like, bro, what the fuck, like I'm tired of just
and that's
like,
always there, bro.
I'm like, I'm so tired of just giving ideas and just like pushing. This is a lost cause. So I just stopped. Then I started rapping, then I stopped rapping. A lot of personal shit happened. I was an English rapper. I used to rap every now and then I'm gone for some years. I was never really serious about it, to be honest. But then things sort of changed once I switched to Hindi, and once a lot of shit in my life just went away that I was dealing with at the time. So I would say that just the last couple of years, when I met Bharg, and before that I had a couple of songs, that's when I really got serious. And then we both got together by some force, and we were just like, bro, we're gonna make a fucking album now. Because in the first 2 sessions we had like Aagya Rooper and Jungli Kutta ready. So we were like, let's go now.
Oh, nice. So it's like what you seek is seeking you, right? You were looking for someone like Bharg who could give a structure to your ideas.
I'd stopped a long time back.
You stopped looking
for... Yeah, I wasn't really the sort of guy who would go up to people and be like, yo, let's make some music. I'd only sat down with like Says to make songs prior to Bharg. And then this guy called Unfuckman, I think I went to his place once and didn't really work out the way that I was hoping. But yeah, shout out to him still. So yeah. I'd given up on it, but it just happened. I'd never given up on listening to a whole lot of music though. So that was something I never gave up on. And that was the bonding. That's how Bharg and I bonded initially. Because he was also heavy.
It's just like a 1-hour conversation of being like, oh,
you listen to this.
You listen to this. Yeah. Just exchanging links and just being like, yo, listen to this. Or it's surprising.
Isn't that the best? Like when you bond on music, suddenly you're like, oh, powder.
No, we were so hyped. We were very hyped. We were very hyped.
Right. But did you guys, before all these influences in school years, did you get exposed to any music through your family or your parents, like playing, I don't know,
in college,
at home?
I was at home, I don't know. In college, I didn't give the audition for the music society thing. I was busy playing football. But one day, there was this guy called Tushar Parashar. He used to beatbox and make like all these trumpet sounds with his mouth. So I told him that I rap. He was like, oh, you rap? Then he gave me a little beat. And I just did a little rap on that beat. And he went to the music society head and he's like, this is Shivam and he's in the music society now. So I was in the music society, but the whole thing was like, at that time, the whole rock scene was really heavy. Delhi mein gigs hote the. There used to be like a lot of metal rock kind of stuff.
Rendezvous mein
Rendezvous you know, like ye sab chal raha tha. So like nobody was like willing to like jam with me as a rapper. They were like, oh, you rap? Okay, that's cool. We're gonna do our thing. So I was just like, I used to go over there every now and then just to like bunk my classes or just kill time. So uske baad I was just like, nah. But yeah, as far as home is concerned, my dad's always been listening to like old Bollywood classic songs that I can't exactly name. But yeah, it's still better than a lot of present day Bollywood music for me. So that's been nice listening. I like it when I see him listening to all that music, even today, I still have a smile on my face. I'm like, yeah, that's some good music, and I'm happy that you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
But as far as influences go,
forced
that's
me to
about it.
like. My parents forced me a little to like listen to music. Even when I wasn't born. So when I was inside my mother's tummy, she's like, they used
That's
to like
some
make
DJ
sure that,
Khaled shit, bro.
bro, they would like, so this is what my father says, but they made sure that like their child isn't as like unmusical, if that's a word, to as them. So they would make sure that like they would listen to music all the time.
That's so cute.
And when I finally was conceived, then after that, my father made me listen to a lot of like Guns N' Roses and Simon and Garfunkel and all of these other people that Papa used to listen to, and a lot of old Hindi stuff as well. I still like have it in my car. I like have a couple of CDs that my father would keep listening to. So I think it was because they didn't want me to like not be unmusical. They wanted me to like be in touch with it. So they kept forcing it in weird ways. But yeah. I think it worked out well. I think it worked out pretty well.
I'm asking because you can see the influence now in your music. Yeah. So, okay, amazing. Now I want to ask you, what is, you both have kind of done music individually before you met, before the big love story began. But how does it feel now to move from being solo musicians and solo artists to a duo? What's the dynamic like? How has it evolved? It's been a year and few months, right?
Almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years. Okay.
So it's been great, man. It's been great. Like, yeah,
it's been great.
Like each
I mean,
time
it's another
we meet,
thing bonding over music, but when you sit down and start making it, it's a little
yeah. So, but it wasn't though. It was, if anything, it was better because like the sort of ideas that I have, he's like he understands them. The sort of ideas he has, I understand the ideas. We have a great chemistry when it comes to that. We haven't had like. I can't even remember any major debate.
Like, there's no proper like disagreements about like
yoga. Yeah.
We always like make sure
maybe
that,
just a couple, but like that is like
एक बार ही हुआ था, as far as I remember, like एक बार ही हुआ था. नसीब का was that.
So मतलब basically, we can get to that also. Even that is like a very small thing.
Very small.
We can still get into that. But it's been great. Like each time we sit, we just end up making a demo which is just way different from the last demo that we made. So it's just that part is really exciting. Like we have 8 demos.
And it's always like, even like our head is always fresh. It's nothing like
and like I can't even tell you all the influences that we have in a zillion calls, because there's like so much music that I've listened to. Then I've lost my cell phone and that playlist has gone times, I don't know, 5, 6. Like I used to listen to grunge, he used to listen to metal. There's so much shit that we've been inspired by. So like all of that stays with you, and when you're in these sessions, it comes out in one way or another. And now we're sitting on 8 demos, and all of them sound different from the others. So it's like, is it even the same artist?
How exciting! Oh my god!
That is the most exciting.
Yeah,
that is the most exciting part.
We're trying our best to, like even if it's a 10% influence of some other genre, I think we've come to a point where like we're able to blend it in. So
you're able to blend it in.
That.
It's so important right now.
In some capacity.
But let's get to the album now. Let's talk about it. For me, and correct me at any point if I'm wrong, I feel like it's a very, it's like a telling the truth, coming of age almost album. There's introspection, there's sort of setting of goals in some songs, there's romantic vibes, there's the chill indie bits, there's a lot of hardcore rap and flexing as well. And then there's songs like Naseeb, where you're telling people like, big brotherly advice and things like that. So there's so much happening in this album. What were your base thoughts, like the starting point when you decided to come together to make it? Let's go there first. Bharg, did you?
I personally, it was for me, like as a in the production point of view, the idea was just that it has to be different, and it has to hit different, and the story must come out. I mean, those are the 3 things that must like happen, right? So even if it's like a Maut where there is a lady screaming and there's nice stabbing, all of this like is that part of the bigger picture and bigger story that needs to like necessarily come out. So if Rawal Bhai has like an idea or a story, lyrical idea that comes out, it must then be reflected in that way. That sort of, if it's an aggressive track, then it must come out like that. There must be things that must be done to like give all of those sort of things. So I mean,
to paint a picture.
Absolutely. So the idea is always that. And whenever we were sitting together, if there is an idea, for example, if Rawal Bhai comes up with a random concept, or if I do something like that, we just try to like get the sonics as close to whatever it can be, and also make it different. The idea is to also give it something different, like maybe 5 seconds of in that song would be a little different from whatever the entire song, or like it would add something new to it. But the idea is to always like, you know, build on things that way.
And
so
make it different.
It's always based on,
and
the idea is always based on like
nothing.
versatility.
As far as I'm concerned, like nothing was premeditated. Once I got to know that those 2 songs have been made, I was just like, let's make 15 songs for some weird reason. 15 was the number. I was like, let's make 15
Random
songs.
Number.
We didn't make random number. We didn't make 16.
There was
we
no
made
thought.
15 and we put it out. There was no it was all organic. It was all natural. I didn't know if I would make a song like Maut. Those were just things inside me. Me and Bharg, we used to listen to samples together. We got we and sometimes I would just have a sample and give it to him, and he would be like, yo, this is definitely gonna work. And then he would like add like 20 things to it and just make it like totally different. Or sometimes he would add like a couple of things to it and just take it in a direction of its own. And we would like listen to samples together when we were making the music, to the point that we would go like for Khush Rahe Tu, for example, we Lakshay is the guy जिसने हमारे साथ गाया था. He was on the hook. So he also played the keys, right? So he was just playing the chords and everything, but he had like some 500 patches on his keyboard. So I was like, bro, you need to fucking go through all of them. Only then we'll like finalize the sound. So we went through like 450 patches that he had in his keyboard, and beach we were having a couple of drinks and talking.
Like 10, 15 of them.
Yeah.
Out
and
of
then
which we selected one. Condensing.
Oh my God.
Same thing in samples. We have like
so we go to
10 samples.
They can put them all together and then listen to them one by one and be like, okay, does this sound good? All right. Okay, what is the best out of this one, as far as, and it's not that the other sample is better, but at that point in time, what do we feel that it is best? We do keep the 10 samples and we can reuse them all the time. But at that particular point in time, what hits?
It's not like that the ones that we didn't pick weren't good enough. It's like, what are we going through, or what are we wanting to make at that point? Simple as that. But all those,
just a minute.
But even like objectively speaking, in terms of our music, those 10 samples that we select are definitely like the ones that we like the most out of all of them. But we just keep narrowing it down.
At that mood, it felt right.
Okay. But I think Rawal, even when we spoke once, you were saying that you wanted an album. You know, it would have probably been smarter to drop singles for 15 months, one every month, but you wanted that album to the two of yours name. So that was your initial thought as well, like, let's make an album. Yeah,
for sure. An album demands respect, man. Like, you can put out like I know some smart A&Rs and whatnot. They have like this opinion ki, oh, why don't you drop singles in this day and age, this and that. And we are going to do that. We're not going to drop an album just like anytime soon at this point. Sorry, but we might drop an EP though. But like, point is that we're going to drop singles, but we wanted to just come with a bang. We didn't care ki, oh, singles darling, it's going to be more beneficial, one song a month. No, we just have this complete body of work for you, and we have 15 tracks.
And it had a message to give.
So
it had to come out like that.
It wasn't premeditated, but towards the end, we do have like we have recurring themes and we have messages. So like we just wanted to give you that whole cohesive body of work instead of just just singles and do it how everyone else is. I don't know.
And it's an album, come on. When you do an album, it's like
I think the universe kind of even conspired for this, because the feeling I kind of got when I sat with the album later, I was like, this has come at such a good time, because right now everyone's dealing with these very raw emotions. There's a lot of loss, there's a lot of helplessness, there's a lot of dark places that people are unfortunately visiting in their lives, and there's also a lot of sort of sunshine that the album is bringing through a lot of the songs. So I feel like the relatability factor in this moment in time is very high for an album like yours. So in that sense, So I just want to now get to like the whole process and the thinking and the whole story that got developed. I've heard this from Harry Styles in an interview. He said that making an album is sort of like navel gazing. It's the most self-indulgent thing you're doing. You're really going deep within. And there's a lot of self-awareness that needs to happen as well before you start writing. So, and Rawal, I'd like to ask you first, even the years that you were kind of away from the scene and then you came back and you started working on this particular work of art. Were you going through that process a lot? The whole like self-realization, awareness, struggling, purging, all of that?
No, I just feel like I was never a stranger to that. So all those things with the right sort of sounds just came out of me. Or the music was, like I was like a vessel of some sort, and the music, the sonics were like just getting it out of me. So I just already had so much inside of me that I had logged in for years and years. And once the sonics were right, and once I knew I wanted to do this, which is like all recently, that's why I don't even feel like I'm like really like somebody old, because I really feel like I really started this shit like 2 years back in a way. I was never serious about it the way that I am now, and I was 2 years back. So just with the right sort of music, all those stories, all those things that I'd seen just came out very effortlessly.
Just triggered it.
Really,
yeah,
it wasn't like, oh, I have written these 4 lines and I feel like I can do better, so I'll cut them and write another 5th line. No, that was never the case. I was just like, okay, this is what I've written at the moment, and this is what I'm going with, and this is what I'm sticking to, and that's my process till this day. Okay, I might have like a couple of lines where I feel like, oh, I'm going too far, and I might cut them, but this is not 100% absolute procedure. Nothing is absolute for that matter. But yeah, for the most part, like 98-99% of the times, I just write what I write, and I've seen a lot of things and they just come out in this music. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have any premeditated thing. I definitely have a lot of concept notes in my cell phone though. So if we have a great conversation and you say something which really works and which I really feel
triggers
triggers something, I'm just going to pause everything and write that in my huge note list and just maybe build on it on a rainy day when I'm not feeling inspired.
So you didn't write any songs in that break time. You wrote everything fresh when you and Bharg got together.
No, I had a couple of songs when I met Bharg. I had Lagaan and Tagore Garden. These 2 tracks that Kam had produced for me already. And I had these 2 songs already, and then after that I met Bharg, and then thought of like the whole album thing. So I just couldn't like not have those songs in the album, because those are like definitely 2 important tracks for me at that time, and whatever I was at the time building up to my life. So yeah, I had these 2 tracks, but nothing else. The 13 new ones we made after I met Bharg.
Bharg, how did you feel when you heard or read Lagaan for the first time? That's a
that song was too hyped for me to ignore. So when I heard it, I was just like, bro, this is fire. I love Lagaan.
Do you think all guys will relate to that song?
That was some, I don't know about the relatability factor, but I mean the production by Kam was just too good, and then the lyrics by Rawal were too straight up and pinching.
Very hard.
So when I heard it, I was like,
I got scared.
This is so nasty. This is so nasty. And I know a couple of people who enjoy this song to like such a personal level.
That's why I mean relatable, because I don't know, there's so much anger in it.
So when I also sat down and mixing the song and getting it all together, I was just having so much fun. I was just like,
oh yeah, man. I remember a couple of things that are still in the track, man. They're still in the track and they don't know about it.
Like what? Tell us.
Like, no, like we'll never tell you. We never tell anyone.
Can't say something. Have been edited out for the best.
If somebody is like, I don't know, man, you need more than a fucking magnifying glass, but sonic to like go through a couple of Easter eggs that we have like dropped very casually in the song.
Have you done that in a lot of songs? Easter eggs?
Maybe.
Okay. We won't say yes, we won't say no. But no, I also want to know that you said that there was a lot inside you, Rawal, and then hearing the right kind of sounds and sonics and things, it was a trigger and it just all flowed. So I want to ask you that when you decided, like you said, I'm going to make 15 songs in total, and Did you know what those songs would be about? And do you feel like a part of you sort of, is holding on to some kind of trauma because that's how you sort of define yourself?
To be honest, like I said, nothing premeditated. I met Bharg. We thought of making 15 tracks together after we made Aage Rooper and Jungli Kutta in the first couple of sessions or 3 sessions. And we just decided we're going to do this because it was fun. We knew that we had made something which was sounding really nice. We didn't know how good it was at the time or how bad it was or anything. We were just like, okay, this seems like it's something. So that was exciting enough for us at the time. And I didn't know if I'm going to make a track, if I was going to make a track like Maut or anything for that matter. Nothing. Nothing was premeditated at that point of time. But after that, when I started writing more and more, then I had the whole concept note thing. So if sometime I wouldn't feel inspired, like for example in the Bombay Sapphire session with Raga, he just recorded his verse for Jungli Kutta, and we had promised him that we're going to give him 2 things, right? One is what everybody is expecting from him, and the other is what nobody is. With Bombay Sapphire, nobody was expecting something like that from Raga. That's for sure. So Bharg was making the beat, and he was at Bharg's place, and it's been a couple of hours, and we're listening to samples, and we're doing what we do with cutting down the samples, and we're just not we're just not working out. And he's like, mujhse nahi ban rahi. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? We got like Raga in my head. I'm like, this needs to work out right now, because like we're like adamant like that. If we have somebody over for a session, we at least sit
need a hook,
a demo hook, need a hook. We need a hook at least, or a demo.
Has to be a hook.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the song is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you guys start with a hook.
So we make sure. So we make sure that the production is a draft production is there, and a hook has to be there. So the same thing happened with Raga. We had to have a hook.
Yeah, but it just wasn't like working at that point, and no samples were working. We didn't even know what we were going to make or anything, right? Yeah, like Bharg picked the guitar up, then he put it back, then he's on the computer, then he picked the guitar up, and then he just started playing these chords, and I was like, wait. And then he played those Bombay Sapphire chords, and I just went in my phone, and I was going through like, what the fuck do I have? And then I had like this line, Dilli Ka Ladka Pita Bombay Sapphire, which I wrote for some fucking weird reason, whatever. And like उसके ऊपर हमने 3 और लाइनें लिखी. नहीं 2 और लाइनें. Literally, it was like the easiest song that we had made after like so much sar khapai.
Struggling.
Like we had one line. We repeated it was so lazy in a way. It's almost like so fucking lazy. We repeated the first line. 4th line is the first line. I literally wrote 2 more lines, and we have the hook. And then we're just listening to the hook, and that's the first time that I'm trying to sing, and I'm drunk, and he's having fun, and we're just like playing with auto tune, and we're just laughing. That's why you listen to us laughing the whole in the intro.
The intro laughs were like actually real, because we just couldn't stop laughing while recording.
We were just fucking around. We were just so happy, and we were like, "Ye kya hai? This just sounds so good." We were just like in some sort of
very pure energy,
sonical bliss.
Nice.
और फिर हमने फिर बस वो hook बनाया, and then all of a sudden Bharg is like, oh wait. I was telling him, because I'm always like giving him so many things to process. We can do this, we can do that, and then he's like, okay, give me a second. Sometimes he says that, and I'm like, I give him that time now. And then he's just like playing the guitar, and he's doing the solo, and he's like, oh, wah pedal डालेंगे तो कितना मजा आएगा. Then he fucking put the wah pedal, and then he's fucking around with the solo, and it's crazy. Then we're crazy, just like, and Raga's literally sleeping over there piche.
And we had loud music.
वो सो गया.
And he was sleeping, and we were laughing about that also.
We
looked at him and we laughed.
and like वहाँ पे feedback की इतनी तेज आवाज है, he still didn't wake up. We were like,
पीछे हिल रहे थे, but Raga was sleeping.
Oh my god.
And then he woke up and he fucked with the shit heavy. And उससे पहले भी we were like, ये हमने बना तो दिया. Usually we do a rap kind of thing. This is like melodic and shit. Is this even good? So Bharg's auntie came, and she was like, ये लोग तुम हो. So I was like, हाँ जी. She was like, the बहुत अच्छा है. Then for like further validation, also we're eating food at this point in the dining room with the door open with the song on loop, because we're addicted to it.
We're so happy and excited.
Yeah, we're like crack addicts at this point, but it's music. और हम सुने जा रहे हैं बस एक के बाद एक. We just constantly Bombay Sapphire.
But it was so new to us. We were so unsure about it that we decided, अच्छा मम्मी ने approve कर दिया. All right, that's one bag is gone. Let's go live and let's see if people love it. And we went live, and we had 10-15 people only at that point in time. But They loved it. So we loved it
so much.
And then you're like, okay, done. Bombay Sapphire, done deal. It's going.
Oh, you went live with an unreleased track. That's crazy.
We used to fuck around with so many demos. We don't do that.
Almost played all songs. We played all songs
so many times.
Oh.
So many. The only thing that I didn't play was like probably Raga's verse in Jungli Kutta, because वो एक चीज थी जो बाद में आई थी. बाकी everything we played so many times. I remember somebody used to come to the live and be like, bro, I just joined the live. Why don't you play it again? I was like, for you, I'll do it. And then I would play that shit again. And then somebody else would come. So that was just like a process. That was a part of our come up. Playing demos on live was a thing that we did, but we don't do it anymore because
you can't do it anymore. Yeah.
So that sucks. I swear. That
actually kind of sucks. But people take it away because they just take it away. So.
Yeah, that just sucks so much.
I mean, now you have to rely on your inner circle, right? Checking if the vibe
is. To be honest, now we're more confident in our abilities. That was just the first time we were trying something melodic and something new. But even if we're like confident, I know that we have some great demos right now. I just want to play it and then have the same process, because I, like any artist, we would want it to be out or like the people to listen to it ASAP. So it's just that. It's not even any sort of seeking any sort of validation at this point. It's just sharing it with the people that we can't, because it's going to be recorded and it's going to be on YouTube the next morning. So.
Bharg, how did you feel when you first saw the lines of Maut? As a producer, what were your first thoughts?
I only heard the first thing, of course, which was there was the hook. So that was only the hook originally. So उस time पे तो there was not a lot, but it was definitely a hook that is very. It was like a very clever hook written. So that was really nice to listen to. Then he sent me the sample. That is the main sample for the song. He was listening to it on Splice. Then I was already making something, and I just put it right onto the sample, and it fit well. So I sent the thing back to him. Okay. And I said, bro, it's done. So that took me around 5-10 minutes, and I was like, bro, done. And then he said, all right, this works. And he started writing on it. Then I got the lyrics. And so a lot of the things that we do, a lot of changes are made after the drafts are made.
Okay.
So after he records or I record and all of that is done, then again, during the mix session, there is a lot of production decisions that are taken and a lot of back and forth that goes through in terms of not mix and sonics, but in terms of production particularly. So I'd heard the lyrics. I liked it. The moment I sat down on the mix is when that is the point when I actually do listen to the lyrics properly. Because I'm constantly listening to the song again and again and again and again. And as I keep doing that, I understand the song better and better and better. And the more you listen to it, is the more ideas and in depth you can go. So there were a couple of parts. There were parts that have been taken back and forth lyrically.
Okay.
And then once the version came out, it needed that sort of grittiness and that darkness that it had. So everything just became. It was for me. It was like a horror story. It had to be that. It is a murderous story. It needs that sort of an idea. That is what it is. It is a story with no happy ending, and that's it. So for me, that is how it played out. And in terms of sonics, that is all it was. And particularly, the first verse isn't as aggressive and as personal. However, the second verse is where the personal stuff comes in. So the second verse was, of course, written later. So the second verse came in, and that's when I heard all of that. And then I was like, okay, for this direction, we need something else. So I was like, this has to play out as a story, especially when he's narrating. I was like, it'll be a really cool idea if we have the narration as well as it's like reading an audiobook.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It was like an audio play happening in that section.
It has live interaction.
Yes.
So when you hear it, it has to be that there are footsteps. Somebody's running this side, somebody's running that side, and there are stabs taking place, and there's a woman screaming. Because to develop a picture in your head, what could it be like? And that was the entire idea. The idea was to just bring that entire song into the front, and especially the second verse into the front. And that particular monologue is the heart and soul of the song by the time you get to it.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, there was just a lot of back and forth in terms of like how to get that particular thing in perfection.
Yeah.
Or or close to what we wanted it to be.
Right.
But that is it. Other than that, it was all sonic decisions like putting distortion, because of course it's a dark song, and having that and having this and
how
blah, blah,
much
blah, blah.
distortion? Just
How
the
much
levels.
distortion? How much
Portions.
distortion was like the thing that took the most amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It went on till the very last minute.
Yeah, I would just be like
the song.
probably more, because I was like so emotionally attached to the song,
Yeah,
and I
of
still
course.
feel like when I perform that song, it's like no other song that I perform for sure. So I was just like so attached to it. I was like, this needs, you know what, this needs more distortion. So I would just be like, okay, let's like take a couple of steps back and like, you know, so just all
like
of
bro,
that.
गाना सुनाई नहीं देगा. The after it became
then
like,
I was like, bro, वो भी तो गाना है, वो कौन सा ट्रिपल एक्स टेंटाशन का Look at Me, वो पूरा फटा हुआ है bro, उसमें वो vibe है, इसमें तो कितना hardcore. So it was just like references and all of that. But
the references and references,
छोटी मोटी चीजें हो गया था पर.
And then finally we came to the conclusion, and I think it was a good 4 or 5 month process. This is all.
Beach में we would just sit on it again. Not like we would do it for 5 months. We would like
open up the project
sit
file.
on it for 10-15 minutes. नहीं हुआ, फिर we would work on something else. Then we would sit on it for 10-15 minutes. So in that sense, not like
yeah,
not like वो 5 महीने से हम like we're like, oh नहीं ये but just the fact कि like बना दिया, अच्छा अब आगे चलो, ये बन रहा है, अच्छा वैसे मैंने मौत सुना था, ये करेंगे तो ओके ठीक है, करो प्रोजेक्ट फाइल ओपन करो, अच्छा ठीक है, हो गया, नहीं हो रहा, ओके चलो छोड़ो. Next song.
Okay, because I was also wondering, like, did you guys do one song at a time, or was it like simultaneously everything's happening?
It was so scattered and
simultaneous.
Right.
It was very scattered and simultaneous.
Yeah, it's like उसका verse रह गया, but उसका hook लिख दिया, उसका एक verse लिखना है, but उसका verse उसकी wait कर रहे हैं हम, वो वहाँ से आएगा तो फिर वो करेगा, फिर वो हो रहा है.
Yeah,
just like
because of the collabs
lockdown हो गए, and like lockdown and everything, and then like, oh, we need to make a sheet, we need to call these people up, we can't be complacent anymore, ये वो निकालना है, इस साल आएगी, अगले साल आएगी, so many,
अगले साल आएगी, इस महीना आएगी, इस महीना आएगी,
like we were almost at that point where like everybody was just about to make memes on our album, like Kanye West it did start. Donda feels.
Oh, y'all announced it. Y'all announced it early on, or
yeah.
If you go to our posts, we announced it almost a year back.
Yeah.
Album
coming soon. We wrote that
day back in March. We were just like coming soon. Year. But soon wasn't soon enough.
Yes, I think everyone in Desi hip hop now thinks coming soon means okay, एक साल कर लो.
हाँ तो फिर सही है, फिर हम भी we're also very much Desi. We're very much Desi when it comes to that.
Yeah, but
so our coming soon is a lot of back and forth process of just like आएगी नहीं आएगी. Even we were like आएगी, हम निकाल रहे हैं, आ रही है, नहीं आ रही, अच्छा ठीक है. But finally, it did happen. I mean, whenever it happened, it happened.
Thank God it happened. But Rawal, I feel like the lines that you've been writing in a lot of the songs, of course, you also said this to me earlier, that it's kind of it's been therapeutic putting this album out, letting all those things out. It's been purging. Bharg, what about you? What has the process been like for you? Has it just been like a creative high, or has it also given you a lot more than just, you know, joy from the music?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Really?
I don't. I honestly don't. I think it has been therapeutic? I think so. Has it been a musical high? For sure, because I've seen those moments where it has just been absolutely maddening. Have I been able to do the things that I wanted to? Hell yes, like that has definitely happened. So there is a lot of like, but is there absolute satisfaction? No. Is there any sort of like therapeutic like thing that has taken place? Somewhat, but it's still undergoing. There's a lot more that needs to happen before like I can be like, yeah, there's no contentment even now. I mean, it's just a constant battle between like, और हो सकता है.
We literally feel like where we were a lot of times. We're like, when it was just both of us saying ki, now that we're putting so much into it, this needs to work. We still have conversations. It's like, of course, we know we're in a different space now and things are different, but I don't know, it's hard to even tell. There's a long way to go. Maybe that's the point that बहुत चीजें करनी है.
So there's a lot more that needs to be done. There's a lot more that needs to happen. Abhi, there's a long way to go. Personally, of course, there's always a longer way to go. I'm sure like people are never content, But even to a point where have we done something? I'm very proud of the album we have for sure.
Of course, yeah.
But there is a lot more to explore and a lot more to give, because 15 songs aren't enough to cover a lot of sonics that we personally enjoy and like.
And just like crazy concepts, we can just have like crazy concepts for the next projects and everything. This was just like really raw and whatnot. We can have different sort of approaches also towards an album and see how that works.
Okay.
You'd
say it's been a confidence booster as artists, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it definitely from the so I mean, we always go back to our point where Rahul Bhai and I are just like, in the end, it was always the two of us who started. But at that point in time, we weren't sure of our art in terms of whether are we doing the right thing. At this point in time, we're a lot more surer about the fact, we're a lot more assured about the fact that we can make good music. We are making good music, and I'm sure there is we can do it further as well. So that has been a great confidence booster. Like
and even like going specific with this shit, like we've had like different sort of songs in one album. Also, maybe I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but what if we have like what if we have different songs in one song, or like take different elements from certain songs and make it one song? That is something that we can do because we have different songs which sound very different. And it's not like we're trying to be like that. It's not like, हाँ भाई हमें ये भी बनाना है ताकि हम बोल पाएं. It just came out that way. That's why the music people like it also, even if it's like something soft, something hard.
हमने मजे करे.
हमने ये नहीं सोचा था कि भाई हम ये बोलेंगे कि हम सबसे ज्यादा वो हैं different. ये सब वाला shit नहीं था.
To be versatile, to call it the most versatile album was never our plan.
हाँ, it's like बना दिया उसके बाद देख रहे हैं बोल रहे हैं हाँ भाई है.
Bless you.
Yeah, so I mean, aisa wala shit hai. Yeah, but like now, one of the things that I think about often is, what if we put different elements of like these songs or new songs in one song? What if we have like a different sort of a breakdown in a song, and then a different hook? The third hook can be different. Like outro, intro, switch.
How crazier can you go with it?
While without overdoing
having
it
also, coherent.
Yeah. Don't want
being
to be
coherent,
like super
but having as crazy
abstract either. But
the ideas are coming into your head now because you're just
the idea. The initiation started with absolutely randomness, is what I will say. When we started making something.
Bilkul.
And as we kept growing, I think the therapeutic part for me was that as we kept going, understanding ourselves in terms of what else we can do became much stronger as a belief.
Playing on our strengths.
Playing on our strengths.
You complete, I'll say.
Playing on our strengths, knowing what we can do and how we can do it better, and what is our aim, where do we stand, how to go forward with it, and all of that. The belief system that we can make that sort of music and we can get certain results out that will be very different from other people has become much stronger than what it was when we just started out.
Right.
At that point in time, we were just playing with stuff.
I could totally just be, I know that he knows what sort of production would be best suited for me. I know what sort of parts would be best for him to sing, and what, like, we know our strengths better now. We can play on our strengths way better now, and like make them shine even more, because he knows what sort of production I would love. I know what sort of melodies and what sort of hooks he can be really great at. So these are things that we know this
discover through the process. Yeah,
just the process. It's like keep doing it. That's just cliched, but it's just how it is.
Singing for me, singing for me was the first time I sang ever was on the album. I never sung before. So
really?
That was like a So that was
Can
like
you
a huge
imagine
confidence booster.
This guy wasn't confident about Baat Ban Gayi ka wall apart when he goes like, क्या बोलता तू? जाने तू या जाने ना. He was like, should I do this? I was like, are you stupid? Like, go for it, bro. Like, that was the sabse high singing. It sounds great. Everybody loves that part. But it was like, but koi nahi. He always had it. He just like needed some sort of like a boost or something.
A lot of things were discovered.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I didn't go on air on radio for 10 years. I worked behind the scenes because I was like, I don't like my voice. And then I went on air and did my show and was like 5 hours a day. Like, so when you do it, you understand, you get the confidence. But I feel like... Sorry
to cut you off, but I don't even feel like there's any such thing as a bad voice anymore. I mean, at least as far as like rap is concerned. This is the shittiest voice can just have a different sort of kick.
It's the delivery, it's the vibe, overall vibe.
It's knowing where it can fit well.
Yeah.
Being like, Smart with it.
Yeah, just being smart with it.
Yeah.
Simple.
But
Anyway,
I feel
listen.
like your personalities are very different, at least to me. And I don't know anyone else has told you this, but I feel like Rawal, you're chord me, you're like very comfortable with flexing. And then Bharg seems like this very chill, calm person who's, you know, like inconspicuous and all of that. So am I right about this? Is that true or?
I feel like these roles can be reversed very easily also behind the scenes and everything. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just appearances can be deceptive, man. Like, sometimes it is like that, sometimes it isn't. We both back each other up. Sometimes if I'm feeling low, he can like be like the one who's like super duper confident and say something that I won't even think of, that braggadocious kuch hi bol dega. But then, like, of course, appearances may comes like that, so I can understand why somebody would think like that. But that's not entirely the story as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. What do you think, Bud?
Yeah, I mean, we play off each other. That's the thing.
Yeah, like, exactly.
It's just that. I think we know each other enough now to like just play off each other and be like, hey, don't worry, bro. When I am just low, he's just like, bro, I got you, bro. When I'm just low, he's just like, bro, sahi to hai. Kya soch raha hai itna? Sahi to hai, bro. You got this, bro.
More than saying I got you, just being like, if there's some sort of problem, like, just fix that fucking thing and move forward. Right. You know, like, that's what we do. We're stuck, just like get out of it. Just think, sit, go through it, just get out of it.
बार repeated actions and कभी ना कभी तो होगा ही सही. वो वाली बात है.
Right, you're doing that with each other. No, but you're doing this with each other. You're also doing it in the songs like Aage aur Upar, even Naseeb. I feel like there's a lot of big brotherly sort of wisdom and vibes you're giving in some of these songs. And I know, Rawal, when we've spoken, you've been like, I don't want to grow older. You know, you're one of the rare guys who wants to be younger. So
yeah, of course I want to be. Like, I don't know. I feel like,
but you're still borrowing a lot of wisdom, no, that you've learned over the years.
वो तो है, but that shouldn't come with age necessarily. I mean, I can think of somebody who can be foolish at 50. So
that's true.
वही मतलब, yeah, like, so that's
Papa
the thing.
Rawal.
Yeah, Papa Rawal can, but not foolish, man. I'm already dropping W bombs. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I forgot where we were.
We were talking about Big Brother vibes.
Yeah, Naseeb also. Like, I feel like you think that's a Big Brother advice sort of a thing. My plan wasn't any Big Brother advice. My plan was, I need to make the person listening scared. If he or she is not following his or her goal, you need to be scared, bro. That is why I say I use those lines. होगा जब 35 का कितना दिल बेचेगा, बन के तू सिंगल सपने समेटेगा, या मरेगा जब कफन में लेटेगा. So I'm just like, bro, I'm just in this song, in this part, I'm just out here trying to make you scared. Like, you better be scared because time will fly. So that was the point. If that can also be seen as big brotherly, of course, but मेरे दिमाग में यही था कि मतलब I just have to.
The best part is a lot of 9 to 5 people love the song.
Yeah,
sure. That's the irony.
The thing is, they know they're in it, but you know, it's those anyway. It's the courage is lacking to break out of it. How do you now, considering what we just talked about, that after the album you feel very different? Just give me, I don't know, 2 adjectives to describe yourself as an artist post the album now. Let's start with Bharg. If your camera.
Yeah. Just 2 adjectives.
Any 2, just.
Hard questions. These are the hard ones.
These are very hard questions. यार इतना तो हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं मतलब तो चीजों पे.
थोड़ा तो difficult
था. I think like just confident and crazy.
Confident and crazy. Okay.
Yeah. Like a lot more confident in terms of my abilities. I mean, it's still always a challenge. There's a constant challenge going on, but there's still a confidence that has come into play. And
so you're confident enough to be crazy, or crazy enough to feel confident. Correct?
I'm confident enough to be like a lot more crazier with my sounds now.
Okay, gotcha.
It doesn't matter like if I do something and some people don't like it. I mean, now I think I've come to a point where I'm just like, yeah, I made some stuff before that people weren't sure of, and it kicked off pretty well. So I'm sure like even now when I do it and when we go ahead and make something, it'll be good only. I think that's some sort of like confidence. That is that, and that has brought the craziness in the sense that okay, now we can do more. We should explore
go
more.
nuts, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Rawal?
Still can't think of anything, man.
Bro,
I feel a lot of
सोचा है bro, तुम भी बता ही दो कुछ ना कुछ.
पता नहीं हो रहा, bro. Like
नहीं
these sort of questions are just the hardest, man.
These are the Miss India questions. You know.
No, I ain't becoming Miss India anytime soon.
Ain't no pageant coming, bro.
Yeah. इतना condense कैसे करे भाई? You know. पता नहीं. I feel very impatient also, man. I'm like, this shit needs to be out. Like I have this restless energy a lot of times, if I'm being honest. I'm like, let's get this shit done. Let's get the demo done. Let's get this done. Let's get this so many songs. And then sometimes it's that. Other times also like very happy in a way. I'm happy because like a lot of people just message and they're like, this album helped me go through this. Nice. I feel like, yeah, helped me with my depression. I was about to do this in COVID lockdown. This happened. That like this is just like great. Like I just feels great. I'm like, chalo. For some reason, somebody is like feeling really good about themselves, or like it's helping them in some sort of way. So it's just such a good feeling. Like I'm very proud of that. I'm just very proud of that. Like I can tell that to anybody who doesn't even like, who's never believed in my music or whatever, and just be like, okay, but this is happening now. So like,
yeah,
everything else will follow, but this is like, yeah.
So the pride, feeling proud and happy and restless. It's a good combination.
Yeah, restless because like more music needs to come out. Like वैसे तो confident, of course I'm confident. Of course, like the fucking demos are great. Of course, there's nobody on the sort of vibe that we are on. Like that's a fucking fact in my head. And as far as I could like really break it down if there's an actual debate, and if I'm not doing a good debate, then we have this guy also. We can make a great debate team and make a case for ourselves, you know. But like we're not going to go there and everything. Just like let the music speak.
Yeah, right.
Excited about the new sort of collaborations that we'll be getting into. Just like having different great artists that we look up to and having them in like songs that people won't expect them in. And those kind of things really fascinate me and stuff. So I mean, there's a lot who wouldn't be fair, but yeah, I tried.
That's good. We'll make do with that. All right. So next thing I want to ask you is there's so many different sort of musical styles and genres that you've mixed beautifully in this album. What is your comfort zone in terms of sound? And you've clearly stepped out of the comfort zone as well. So let's talk about that as well. But what's your comfort zone? Bharg, you go.
Guitar songs are my comfort zone.
Really?
That's all. Yeah. That's sort of like, I think like when we're literally clueless, it's always like go back to the guitar, bring it out, let's play that, let's see where we can go with that. It's always like it, and it has helped because in the end that's my primary instrument, and I love, and luckily the both of us love songs which are guitar oriented and stuff like that. So because of that, then there are certain chord progressions that I know Rao is very comfortable with. That he's just like, okay, this is I want that, and I'm just like, yeah, always, always. And so we have an idea of what we personally like, and but we're always like trying to add something more to it, or try to do something different. And I'm actually this time some of the demos we have aren't like that. It's different. It's different in the same zone, in the same way, in the same areas, but like hitting you very different.
So sure. you have to get uncomfortable. You have to go out of the comfort zone often enough, right?
We do that, but it's not a fixed process. Like it's just the thing
hard
is,
to tell.
It's just so hard to tell because it is so random, Jyoti. You have no idea how random it is for us.
I can imagine. Random. Your Instagram stories are very random, so I can.
Just like what's comfortable, what's uncomfortable. Like sometimes, I mean, I get the comfortable. Like maybe me trying to sing in a song like "Khush Rahe Tu" was uncomfortable. So like we took some extra time to like figure that out. But then I also like work in ways which work for me also. Like I'm not trying to become like the next Mariah Carey out here, you know. I mean, I just did like my verse in the low baritone voice that I have. Usme maine kiya. Then just towards the end, we thought of putting another layer of me, just like adding another just melodic layer to the last words. So that gives it melody. So that's like, I just got away with one over there, basically. Like, if it was just a rap song, I would have been done with it. But like Khush Rahe Tu Main, I was like, this needs some sort of melody. And I tried melody, it wasn't working.
Right.
And you know, it's not like I try to sing and everything. I practice or everything. Like Bharg has asked me to. But I don't do that. So, matlab, usme, I'm just like, jo mere ko aata hai, wo usme se thoda sa touch waisa deke, blend it, and you know.
So
that is like,
which song were you the most uncomfortable with? Which one did you struggle with the most?
Khush Rahe Tu and Baat Ban Gayi. Baat Ban Gayi was such a big struggle at one point in time. I was just like, कि होगा या नहीं होगा.
Really?
I mean that thing is, इसका वो बहुत कम है भाई, इसका फिर tolerance, because बाकी गाने are just super smooth. सब इतना smooth जाता है कि मतलब वो एक दो गानों में थोड़ा बहुत वैसा हो गया. वैसे तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है. मतलब it's like, हाँ चलो 15-20 मिनट वर्स रिकॉर्ड, आधा घंटा गाना रिकॉर्ड, लिखा हुआ है, यू नो, लाइक उधर ही लिखा, उधर ही रिकॉर्ड किया. कितनी बार इतना स्मूथ होता है ना, जब तब थोड़ी सी भी कोई चीज होती है ना, देन यू फील लाइक थोड़ा ज्यादा हो रहा है. एंड हुआ भी था, लाइक if I would take like 15-20 minutes, I was like in front of the mic for an hour in Khush Rahe Tu, or like an hour and 10-15 minutes, and we're just like, kya karna hai? So, you know, just go back. So in that respect, it would be Khush Rahe Tu, and I was just trying to sing in the whole in my verse, but then I realized that that's not going to work. So I just did my whole verse and then added another layer of just double takes, but in a melodic way. You know, like chada jo nasha ho, you know, just like
the
small
thing is,
things
we
like
know
that.
how to. We also know how to help each other now. Like, so we can always be, whenever there's something that, like, for example, if I'm singing, I know like Rahul bhai knows the sort of voice I have and how it can be projected well. I know like the sort of voice Rahul bhai has. So when he sings, I know, okay,
he can go here and he can't.
Thing. Yeah. So we always go back and forth with each other when it comes to recording all the time. So that is also, I mean, after like a year of just like recording, I think it has come to a point where we know कि हाँ हम ये कर सकते हैं और हमें एक दूसरे को ये एडवाइस देना चाहिए और ये चीज़ हमारे वोकल्स में अच्छी लगती है, ये चीज़ें अच्छी नहीं लगती हैं, तो कहाँ पे हमें मतलब वो करना, हेल्प करना चाहिए दूसरे का. So that is also always helped us. And
but in terms of just comfortable to bhai, like I would say bassline driven music is just very comfortable for me. Like I love that. I love a song with no melody, just bassline, so I can just like rap on it or just like even do a little melody on it. So we have like one of Vaisa type ka gana.
And that's how you called. Okay, sorry. It just made me remember that you said that you had the hook and then he sent you the thing with the sample and then you wrote the rest of Maut on it. So is that something you do? You just take the bass sort of thing and then you write over that? That's your comfort zone as well?
Yeah. A lot of times I don't need drums. I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, I just need that sample looped so I can do what I do. And then the drums will be according to my verse instead of my verse being according to the drums.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, so that is, because I like a lot of space. I love a lot of space in a track. I fucking love a lot of space in a track. Sometimes when there's like minimalistic production and there's like a lot of pockets, that you can like do so much more as an artist when you have that much space. As opposed to just like everything crammed in and like, so the producer just trying to like, you know, not understanding the vibe and just trying to like be on top of everything. That's not always the best things. Like I love the minimalistic approach in clothing, in fashion, in design, in music, in everything, in life, period. So
I'm just lazy, that's why it's minimalistic.
Nice. The other end of the
spectrum. He's just like मेरे लिए कम काम है.
I'm just like वैसे भी क्या डालना है? Why should we put 100 things if it's coming out right now?
True.
So which song would you say you had the most fun making on the album?
Bombay Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
Bombay Sapphire was the most fun, and like Baat Ban Gayi was like very fun as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Not Jungli Kutta?
No, Jungli Kutta wasn't fun. Okay. I mean, it was fun, but like
Jungli Kutta was fun after it was made, but before that, Rao bhai was just like walking around the entire room,
pacing.
When you made the beat.
When I was making the beats, I put my headphones on. I said, "Give me some time, bro."
I think she should know this story. So like,
tell.
I met Bharg and like always, I just have a lot of fucking information. So I'm like, ये कर सकते हैं, ये सुन, ये बजा, इसमें से ये part, your TV show, like just so many things. And he wasn't really used to like so much input from me or anything. हम पहले मिल रहे थे. Then he was just like, that was one of the times, and he was like, okay, I understand this. Give me like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he put on his headphones, and I was just like so anxious. I'm like, I can't listen to what he's making. Because I really hate if somebody is making something and I don't like it, and then the whole time is wasted and everything. You know, that is something that I'm not with. But like, also that's there's something called trust. So you gotta trust the person. So like, I was just like, okay, I understood that later on. So I was like, yeah, okay, you take your 15 minutes. He's on the headphones, he's doing something. I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't know. Like, let's just see where it goes. Yeah. Uske baad, I'm just like pacing here and there. He played the beat. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I fucking gave him like a high five like fucking 10, 15 times. I'm like, you're the greatest ever and shit. Like, I was just freestyling in English. I'm actually a rapper now, bro, because of this beat. I'm listening to that shit. I'm driving back home. I'm freestyling like a maniac. I'm just like wrote the verse. Well, that's like a little part of the story of Jungli Kutta. But yeah, that was just crazy how he just made like a simple 808 slides or a galati beat. And sometimes it's just crazy. It's like we love thinking ki, it's just that simple, you know. Sometimes things are just that simple. So that's like, that gives us a lot of joy. Like,
Jungli Kutta is just 5 sounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe you didn't think of that, but it's just that simple. Yeah, and I was making a drink at his place and I heard like the cops going around. And then there was a siren and udhar se beat ki awaaz aa rahi hai. I'm like, whoa, wait, I'll make my drink later. I'm like, we need to fuse this. And he did that and usne fade kar diya the ends of the siren, and then that's the hook. You know, like,
wow.
I mean, just
it's stupid.
It's simple. It's stupid,
dumb, but it's
simple.
So good. Yeah, because there's a joy you feel, right? The surge of like happiness. Yeah.
Somebody yesterday asked me like, Jungli Kutta ka bro baseline is like 2-3 different basses or what. I was just like, nahi bro, there's not a lot of brain into it.
Bases.
There's not a lot of brain into it. Like,
but there is though.
When you
there is though. That's what I'm going to tell you, Bharg, bro. Like, even like, I heard like this guy John Kairaf, जो भी उसका नाम था, जिसके philosophy पे Barcelona Tiki Taka is based. You know, he was like Tiki Taka वगैरह. He was like the pioneer of that shit in a way. Uska quote है, the hardest thing is to play simple football. I mean, like, you know, selecting which sounds is also like, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. No, that's also there.
Bro, I tried recreating it yesterday. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I forgot how it was made.
and it's just a whole thing, bro. Like, it seems very simple. That's why it doesn't really feel like work most of the time. Like, music isn't work because we're having fun. That's why it seems simple. That is why all those things happen. But actually, from someone else's perspective, it's not simple, bro. But from our perspective, it is.
Yeah, it's not for an outsider. It doesn't seem simple at all, especially when it's just so beautiful to listen to and so layered.
It's very random.
Yeah, and like Sez ने भी अपना उसमें master किया, अपने थोड़ा उसने भी अपना touch करके made it like even more banging than it already was. So shout out to Sez also.
Need to invest in a webcam now, man. Like, high time. Invest in a proper webcam before.
Like
just like.
You're back.
Hello.
Yay. So, okay, I want to ask you, Rawal, when you're writing, are you thinking of who you're writing this for, or you're just writing? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking, because in Jungli Kutta, you're saying Londa hai, to kyun tu moody? So you're talking to a guy, right? Whereas in the other songs, you're talking to a girl. I mean, of course, in Lagaan, you're talking to whoever, and then so there's different lines in different songs that I kind of stood out for me, and I was like, does he know who he's talking to when he's writing? Why is Bharg laughing? He's funny.
I mean, yeah, certain songs are for certain people. Certain songs are just, I don't even know who they're for, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, sometimes it can be like that. Sometimes it's for somebody. Sometimes it's not for somebody. It's just like that. It depends on the song. Like, of course, it's the song about the relationships or whatever come from a place, right? Like, but like sometimes
it just doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't also. So that's the thing. This can never be a direct answer, because something like a Baat Ban Gayi is probably like coming from like a very fictional place in my head, because I literally just wrote it for somebody imaginary, which is probably sad.
Okay.
Somebody hug me. I need a hug or something. But yeah, like, you know, but that's not for a person then. But there can never be a direct answer for this question.
Okay. Did you guys, is there a reason you use that crow? I have to ask this. The crow, like.
Just random. Just random. Just crow की आवाज. वही बस crow की आवाज आ रही होगी.
Like you heard the siren, you heard the crow, and you like, let's use it.
जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, हमारे आंसर्स सब ऐसे ही होंगे.
ऐसे ही हैं. It was random, like crow का बस उधर अच्छा लग रहा था, just like or maybe I had heard it in a Mac Miller song or something, man, to be honest. और I was like इसमें crow डालते हैं, उसने डाला, उसने बहुत सही जगह पे डाला, and it was just like wow, this kind of sounds different, great. It's
I'd already put like a jungle sound in it, so there was like a jungle foley sound that was there. So there's always like small birds chirping and all of that. So and then like the crow just like one particular focused bird in it, but that's it. I mean, why put?
I mean, just डाल दिया, दिमाग में आया, try किया, अच्छा लग रहा है.
Worked for us.
It worked for you. It worked for us. It cracked me up. I was like, something funny.
Yeah, people love the crow sound. I mean, we're happy that people, liked it as much as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they picked on it.
They did. I know we did. But how do you guys know?
Upfront, they had to.
Even at the end, it just comes with that little. Yeah. But how do you guys know when a track is done?
I don't think we have a lot of trouble figuring that out. I don't relate to when people say ki, oh, I can't get it. Ye khatam kab hua hai. I don't know. This might be a different answer for Bharg because he has to take care of a lot of mixing and mastering and a lot of elements of the song. So, matlab, this is probably. And then, but we also go for like a back and forth in terms of feedback. He asks me what I'm thinking. But for me, I just feel like when it just feels good, feels complete, it's not really that complicated, to be honest. Ye nahi hota, oh, maybe I can do like this more. Sometimes it happens, like we were talking about Maut and everything. Sometimes the proportions can be upper niche. But for the most part, just know it. And when you have like a minimalistic approach, it's generally not that hard to tell because there's not like 20,000 things in a track that you have to take care of. So that also comes with like a certain pro.
For me, it's like story and sonic driven.
Yeah.
So the story has to be translated well. And and sonically it needs to be there. So for example, if Baat Ban Gayi is a cute song, it has to sound cute. If there's anything that doesn't sound like that, then the song is not done. And if it doesn't fall into place with each other properly, of course, because that's the part of mixing mastering is to make it fall into place. Then it's not fine. And then there are a lot of things that we know the song is not finished when we make a first draft of it. But after like the mixing process happens, most of our production decisions are taken care of. And if there is something extra that I have to put, I feel personally putting, I do that. And then if he has to personally like add some elements, he lets me know. But they are they're only tiny bits.
Yeah.
The process like the seasoning on a pizza, man.
Right.
Yeah. Like the process is as simple as this. You make the base of the song. For example, if he has a sample, he writes on it. I get the sample. We make a draft around it. Then we record the entire song on that draft. Then we go into the mixing process. That's when a lot of other production decisions are taken.
Right.
And then one version comes out, second version, third version, and by the time it's fourth, fifth, there is a coherent sound that is going to go. Now, is the story being delivered by that? I think so. Like, is the crow necessarily a cute part of the song? It is. Yeah. Does the jungle make it really nice and lively? It does. Is the simple bass line that is it nice? Is it cute? Does it make your head go like this? It does. And that's the idea.
And at the same time, it's not the first thing which would come to your head. A bass line like that for a track that cute is also, in my opinion, not necessarily the go-to bass line or the go-to
like a lot of people would have
pop bass line.
In a lot of hip-hop production, I'm sure like a lot of people would put like a 808 or like a trap drum and stuff like that. But that was not the idea.
Right.
The idea was to make it nice and clean and cute.
But like I just feel like without knowing, only certain elements are very different and unique about the songs also. Like I really feel like Baat Ban Gayi ka bassline is really not a bassline that most of the producers out there would go for a track like that. They would definitely not go for a bassline like that. And I wouldn't even think that this would work. So I'm not sure if that's a cute sound necessarily, as like I could really rap on that bassline and make it something else altogether, you know? But like the way that you gelled it is also like just, I don't even know where it comes from, man. We're just vessels out here. Crow dal diya, dal diya, bro. Like I don't even know.
Like I listen to a lot of like future-based stuff, and there's this artist called Louis the Child. They make a lot of like cute pop electronic songs, And
bedroom
so the moment I heard the sample, like the moment I heard the sample and I put it on the session, I knew exactly where to go. It was all there in my head. I literally put the kick, I put the clap, and I put the bass line. Those were the 4 things that were all done. After that, the song was done. After that, more elements were then further put into it to make the song fill up and do that. But
and as you were doing that, I'd written half of my verse.
Yeah, and his half was also done.
Nice.
So we were already there with the idea. We were already there. When he says Apna Time Aayega, there'll be a laughing track, and we were vibing to all of it. So we already had things set in place. Then there
really
and that Apna Time Aayega laughing wala thing is because you made me listen to the Billie Eilish new album, and usme maine suna tha in one of the songs she says something.
And then they
it's not a laugh thing, it's a I wish you were gay. So I wish you were gay. Usme I heard that then I was like, isme agar hum haan kar denge to matlab that's going to take all the cringe away from the line, you know, because I know it's a cringe line. At the end of the day, in my head it was. I was like, Apna Time Aayega.
It is.
Even if it wasn't now, after the album, it is become quite cringe. The laugh was really funny at the end of it.
I mean, it's all that was.
That's the idea for like a song like Baat Ban Gaye. Naseeb ke liye there's a different idea. So we know like a song is done when those like ideas get fulfilled in the end of the day.
Have you ever disagreed on this song is done and it's not done? You've disagreed on maybe the Maut one, but any other?
Yeah, no.
Like we haven't really disagreed on even Maut. The Maut wasn't disagreed upon.
Okay.
Maut is just that. Does it need this sort of change? Does it not need this sort of change? Are we sure? There was no disagreement, but there was a lot of like, is it completely done? We were both not very sure about it.
And I also think that also had to do something with how emotionally connected I was to that song. So I was like, maybe this should be even more hardcore than it already is, you know, like I was a little caught up in that, but then I figured it's also a song at the end of the day. I can't just like overdo things.
It's a very personal song. So
we only disagreed upon Naseeb's sample.
Naseeb's sample, which
he sent it to me and I just didn't like that sample. So I was just like, bro,
not gonna work.
Not gonna work. नहीं bro, काम करेगा. And I was like, bro, नहीं काम करेगा. And then he was just like, अच्छा तू बैठ जा इसके साथ, तू देख क्या कर सकता है. So then I was just like, okay, ठीक है, let's just put it at a wall and be like, this is what I have, so what do we do with it? So then we tried a couple of things and we went back and forth, and then the Naseeb track came out to be actually pretty well. So so it worked out.
Yeah, and Kam listened to it and he wanted to hop on it also, and I was like, yo, that's awesome. So I mean, I feel like everybody fucked with the shit.
So that's another thing, because you said at some function, Ikka heard Akkad Bakkad and he said, I want to hop onto it.
Says ke ghar pe. Says was having this Gana ka whole podcasting live stream event at his place.
Okay.
So हमने 1-2-3 गाने किए थे. Smoke was there. Avruti were also a part of that, but they weren't in Delhi. Then Ikka,
they were in Bombay.
Ikka bro came and he had already listened to our album teaser. So we made this album teaser because everybody was on our backs. So just had this idea of like taking the best seconds of all of the 15 tracks and then
it was a 2-minute teaser.
2-minute teaser. Then पूरा radio का teaser उसका पूरा बढ़िया सा उसने उसे blend किया और पूरा radio type वो sonic बनाया. Then we made a short of video for it because that actually gave us some sort of like space, and that also worked for us because people were already like excited कि कौन आ रहे हैं, and then they had listened to little snippets, so they were like, oh, these guys.
And they heard it in one project, so people were like, oh, this is different. Okay, everybody had already decided that, bro, मेरे को ये पसंद आया उस trailer में, मेरे को ये पसंद आया उस trailer में. Things like
Ikka bro had listened to the trailer.
People would get off our back.
Ikka bro had listened to the trailer. He was like, bro, that Jungli Kutta track is crazy. Ye wo. Then we just bonded. We chilled a bit at Sez's place. We played Ikka the whole album. And I just told him that there's like this one verse that I have to write. Otherwise, the whole album is complete. That is Akkad Bakkad's second verse that we were waiting for months. Ki main wo wala kab khatam karunga.
You were going to write that.
I was going to write that.
Okay.
Also, then I also asked like Panini AF Cap. He's like a brother of ours. He's like he also designed the artwork
album.
Anurag Sharma clicked. He's also Blondie. He's a friend of ours. Usne photo liya, gave it to Panini. He designed the whole artwork for us. So we're like very grateful. So
nice.
So yeah, like he was supposed to be over there, but he had like some commitments back in New York, and I've known him for a long time. So I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm just gonna go and write this myself, because at that time I was like a little bit like, yo, 15 गाने बन गए हैं, इतना time हो गया, एक और verse लिखना है. What do I write about? I really have to kill this.
This is the last.
खत्म करते हैं. I was literally like, that was the first time I was like, ah. And
then one of the first songs made. And
right. Yeah, and then Ikka bro listened to it and he became a part of it and he liked the vibe. Amazing. And we were just like so hyped and excited. And Panini was like sort of flexing. He was like, even me not doing a track for you is a blessing, bro. And he was like, yeah, bro. I'm looking forward to not working with you in the future.
Nice. So things just happen organically. But did you feel like you were facing writer's block or something? Like, have you?
No. I would have done it, but I was just like, tired. Ab bhai nikalo, kitna time ho gaya, you know, like just that. I would have done the verse regardless. Yeah, I don't like to believe in any writer's block, man.
Okay.
I don't like to believe in it.
If it was any longer, if the album took any longer, we would have lost our minds at that point.
Bilkul,
but it just wasn't happening. And when it did happen, I mean, it is what it is now.
Yeah,
I think it is because of
it's all good.
It happened in its own pace.
Yeah.
And we're glad that it happened.
We're also glad. And speaking of the album releasing and the audience response, I really feel like, they say that real sort of connection and real bonds and friendship and all of that is built on vulnerability and how vulnerable you can be with someone and then they are vulnerable back and they share their stuff. So I feel like you've been so vulnerable and open about a lot of real things in the album. And that's why you've been able to form this very strong bond. At least the responses that I've seen online to your album. What has been the feedback at your end? Things that have touched you, people have said, or, how you feel?
Like I was saying the other day, just every other day, getting messages like, in the lockdown, this album helped me a lot. I was going through this and it helped me a lot. Aage aur Upar helped me a lot. This track, Magan, makes me feel great. Jungli Kutta makes me feel unfelt feelings. And there's so many
people
things. Just
being like, I started making music again because of the album.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a big compliment.
That's like literally people opening up
I've let go of my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend because of Kush Reto. Now I wish her well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You've given people closure.
Like, yeah, my blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so those things. And in the end, I mean, that's something that is a go-to thing. And we believe in that is the fact that you can go through the entire album and will find a place for yourself.
You gotta, I mean, like, if you're a fan of music, you gotta, like, I think I'd be kind of surprised if you don't like anything from the album. I'd actually be a little sad also.
Be like, we feel confident about that.
Yeah, there's no way, someone will be like, I don't like any track. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. All of them. All of them.
Like this? Okay, this is, do you like this though? Okay, you don't like this? Okay, can we give you this? It's like it's a buffet. Eat what you like and eat it as much as you can.
Yes.
Not saying ki people, there's still a possibility, right? Ki kuch bhi na pasand hai. So not ruling that out, but at the same time, would be like sad and be like, stop being a hater, bro.
In the end, it's our approach. Our approach is for everybody to take something out of the song, out of the album.
No, I mean, even if people don't personally relate, I feel like they can just appreciate the journey you've been on and that you're relating through the album, because I feel like sometimes it's the art that pulls you towards someone's story and sometimes it's the other way around. It's someone's story that will pull you towards their art. I mean, I didn't know much about Van Gogh, for example, till I was in Amsterdam. I went to the museum, I heard the story and I walked through the rooms and I understood the life of the artist. And then my heart cried out for him and I got involved in the art. But just listening to the album, I want to know, who Rawal is and who Bharg is and what their journey's been. I want to get into the details. I want to know what they're going to do next. Like, I feel like audience can relate on those levels also.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's either one of two things. Either you relate to it or you appreciate the story.
Yeah.
If you can't relate to it,
or you hate. And that's fine.
It's fine. There'll always be hate when you put yourself out there.
I'm sure we'll come around one sound that they will finally like. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah.
But like, to be honest, hum banate thodi hain aise ki matlab we just do what we like and then hope that people like it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Which song on the album, individually, I want to ask both of you, would you say best defines you right now? Like, just pick one. I know it's hard to pick amongst your babies, but pick one. This is my vibe right now.
What's the best, bro?
Man, that's the journey. Ended the album on that note, no? for a reason. Ki matlab, we want everything. So like I would say Chahiye Sab for me.
Okay.
I think I would say that, and like also Baat Ban Gayi. I mean, those are my sonics. I love those kind of songs.
Okay.
And that's like my go-to sonic preference. But
Yeah.
Chahiye Sab, because I'm just so indecisive of things in terms of like kya kar sakte hain.
Yeah.
So I think Chahiye Sab is just like one of those things ki like, oh, ye bhi utha lo, wo bhi utha lo, ye bhi kar lo, wo bhi kar lo. And in the end, that is how we thought about the album as well. So, I mean, Chahiye Sab is the thing, but I would also say Baat Ban Gayi. So it's not one, but let me get away with
it. It's fine. You're allowed. But I love Chahiye Sab. Oh my God, just the way you guys ended the album. I think you saw in the reaction as well. It was just like, oh.
Shout out to Crayon also.
Yeah. Shout out to Crayon. Right? He
that track.
Did the whole chops.
Flute. Chops and all that.
Nice.
It was crazy.
Nice. Okay. So do you think the way forward, the way the Indian music landscape is, I think the last stats that I've seen, 80% of it is film music and commercial music, and about 20% covers the independent scene, also including the hip hop genre that's now rising and becoming more and more popular. What do you guys think? And I really want to ask both of you, because you've mixed genres so well. Do you think that should be the way forward?
No, I don't feel like we're anybody to tell people what to make.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
but you think the scene will evolve more?
I feel like I know there are artists out there who do listen to a whole lot of different stuff, but then they don't really portray it in their music. So I hope in this album can help them do that in any sort of capacity, because it's not like they're only listening to one sort of music, and they're not making. There's some artists who are not making one sort of music, also one type of music. But then I feel like maybe this album can help them experiment more. But at the same time, I also feel like
everyone is their own artist. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like everybody has their own way. Like this is our way of doing things. So we definitely feel this is the way forward for at least what we feel is right. Yeah. So for us, it is that. But for each their own.
Yeah, we definitely would like to have a say in changing this independent music scene. By like, we definitely, when it's all said and done, that is something that is a definite goal for us. Ki matlab, like changing this whole scene and how you see it, how you
perceive music also.
Yeah, and we're not fixing anything which isn't broke. So I mean, we're just gonna go on and do what we do and try to change, and definitely actually change the independent scene as much as we possibly.
The idea is to just like make people aware कि ये चीजें हो सकती है. हम ये try कर रहे हैं.
आगे choose तुम्हें करना है.
हाँ, आओ सुनो.
तुम्हारे लिए कभी choose नहीं करेंगे. That's choice is yours.
So you're giving it like you're letting the audiences know that this is also possible. You might like this, and then the other artists who kind of see it like, oh, okay, I didn't really think of that. But the reason I'm asking you guys is because your album, I think I've heard you say it in a stream somewhere as well, that you don't yourself classify as a pure hip hop album, right? You said it wouldn't be fair to call it that. Yeah,
we don't call it a hip hop album at all.
Right?
It's not.
Yeah, it's an important album.
It's dominated.
Yeah,
it dominates, but it's not
hip hop dominated. But it's not just a hip hop album.
Yeah,
it's not.
They put a lot of hard work and sounds into it for it to not be a hip hop album.
Right. One can see that.
And yeah, I mean, it's not just hip hop, definitely. And hip hop, not to say that hip hop isn't experimental enough, but you get it. You listen to the music, you're like, this is more than just hip hop. This is that, and like we can do a whole breakdown in some other interview, but yeah, this is definitely more than hip hop, but hip hop dominated, but not just hip hop. Way more than that.
It's very interesting to me because I've been in the radio music industry for like 15 plus years, and this is a very interesting time I feel in the Indian music landscape because as an example, take France, because outside the US, France is the biggest hip hop market, and hip hop went there in the late 80s. It became big in the 90s. But what the first generation of rappers sort of did there was they kind of mimicked what their American counterparts were doing. And they stayed in that zone of, the normal hip hop sounds and things like that. Now, the new generation in the last 20 years, and even in the last 5 years, they've started mixing their own sort of culture and their own sort of background influences into so they took trap and then they made Afro trap, right? Because a lot of the French rappers are from African colonies and things like that. So there's a lot of mixing they've done to create new sounds. And I feel that's been a 30-year journey in the French hip hop industry. And because it's still in that nascent sort of stage in India, I feel like artists like you are kind of going towards that, in that direction, which is really important. Who knows what will come out of it in the future and how it'll evolve. But I think it's just a good direction.
The one thing I definitely do know is that there is definitely an audience to consume it. I mean, and to say that like, so a lot of like the generic like rhetoric is always that like the Indian audience doesn't understand sound. It's not that, because they do listen to like international music and then they appreciate that as well. So the thing isn't that there is no like, there's no consumption. It's just that it has not been made available due to certain dominating and factors, because some people just don't want people to get out of that. But now that the internet has come out and people are getting that option, that now that it has been made
definitely
available,
has a lot to do with access.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with access. So people are accepting it, and it is, I think, like, and it is like a good time for people to actually go ahead and make sure that now that the access is there, everybody has a smartphone, make the music that you want to, because I'm sure nobody's a fool. Like, every human understands what's good or bad in a general state.
Just feel it.
So they will, so if it hits, it will hit them for sure. So I think it's
I was at someone's place and somebody was just like, oh, so you're like a musician, you must be half crazy and whatnot, just kidding around. And like, it's like, oh, okay, I also do interior design, but okay, side note. So they also asked me to play something. So of course I didn't go for a song like Jungli Kutta. It was like a home setting and I was at someone's place and I played them Khush Ritu and they really enjoyed it. And they're not of the same age group or anything. They're older, but they still enjoy it. So if you put your heart into something and if you do it well, and then there's going to be people who are going to enjoy it for sure.
You have a broader audience, broader appeal.
A lot of elderly people have actually liked our album and liked our songs. And
I'm not
saying they love Jungli Kutta, but they did. So, and they're of a totally different generation when like independent scene wasn't as big as it is right now. So for them to go ahead and also appreciate song, it shows that they understand what good writing is, and people in general understand what good sonics are. So I'm sure, and I hope our sonics are also good enough for them to, like it in the first place. So, but one thing is for sure that like, if you provide people good stuff, they will consume it. It is just that the access needs to be there, and I think access is slowly coming in.
It is, and now with the streaming apps. Yeah, but like, see, someone sitting in Brazil can also enjoy one of your songs if it just pops up on their playlist. And for me, like, I just put French hip hop and French R&B radio on, and it's going on in the background. I'm loving the sounds. I may not understand the language, but I'm still vibing to the things I'm hearing. And I feel like, at some point, I think even Desi artists and hip hop artists, Desi hip hop artists can reach that place where even someone who doesn't know the language will still enjoy the sounds because they're so unique.
I mean, K-pop industry being booming is like one of the biggest examples.
Exactly.
I feel like there's still a couple of things that I'm not sure about it, but I still feel like the playing field needs to be a bit more level, because there's like, but then that's there in everything, like who there's like better access, you can get into a playlist easier if you know, like there's a lot of things like that I'm getting into. And
I was just coming to that because you told me we're independent artists, and so there's a lot of things we're figuring out as we go along. There's someone who's kind of like holding our hand and taking us through the thing, the maze. But what has been your sort of experience with the labels? Have you interacted with major labels, or you're just staying away from that?
No, we are.
No, we're open to conversation.
We're open to conversation. So everything, but the primary part still says that like we have to like it's the two of us making music in our room. That's the end game of all. And we did things like we did this album with our own ability. So we think we can the independent factor is very much alive for us always.
Right.
We're always open to like working with different people and stuff like that. But we have taken this route to like now learn things on our own, understand things on our own.
I feel like we need time. Like, one thing I've tried to realize is I gotta trust my instincts even more, if anything, because if I feel like something is fishy, then after like 5 months I get to know not always, but a lot of times it's like, okay, this was fishy for a reason. Like, you just try to cover it up, but like things like that, slightly shady and whatnot. But you know what, it's fine. Like, we're talking to anybody who wants to talk to us. We're accessible. And we're also figuring things out for ourselves at the moment, and we would like to have like time for us to know what the bigger steps are for us. But like I said, we're not fixing anything which isn't broke.
Yeah. Also, I think the album's kind of been proof enough that A, you can do it jamming in your rooms, and B, you can also reach the audience you need to reach. Maybe still not as big numbers as maybe a major label would have helped, but it can still, go out there, word of mouth and all of that. So, you know what can be achieved on your own, right?
Definitely.
For sure.
And there are some examples also who are doing it like super independently. So that's great to see, great to know.
So what are we to expect in the rest of the year and the coming year from Rawal and Bharg?
Couple of
melting of genres.
We have something. Yeah. So like we have something coming on 17th.
Okay.
Like a new song, a new video.
Ooh,
and it's totally different from all the other songs that we have right now.
Okay.
Out with us and out on all streaming platforms. Okay. And
we have things planned. A couple of things planned. So we have ideas.
Up to 17 ke baad aa raha hai, bro. It's with Karan Kanchan. And it's going to come out from Gully Gang. And we shot the whole video and everything. And
Okay.
So we're hoping to work out fine. And our future also, we have songs. We've dropped a couple of hints here and there. So already
Okay. This is the most we'll be able to tell.
Okay, that's fine.
A couple of other songs also.
I know. It's a very secret thing. It's fine. But tell me
who... very different.
Yeah, I know. You have to be. Who are the top 3 sort of musicians, not just hip-hop artists, musicians that you admire in the country? Bharg, you go first. In this.
I really, I mean, love Maut.
Okay.
So they're there.
Of course.
I really do. I actually, I don't think like a lot of people like it, but I really enjoy Pratik Kuhad as an artist and what all he has achieved, and what Pagal Henna did for him, and how he moved on and now is working with Capitol Records. I think that is a great inspiration to look at, even for like independent artists going forward and how he did things.
Yeah.
And I honestly, apart from that, I mean, we can't. I mean, if we could pick ourselves, I would pick Rawal here as number one. But I can't. Then it's Rawal. Like Maut and Pratik Kuhad. Then that's how it'll go for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry. I would say Maut for sure. We love them. I would say Peter Cat Recording Co. For sure. Love their music.
Yeah.
And third is just hard, so I would go with like Rawal X Bharg, man.
Okay. Nice. Who is
exactly? Maybe वही सोच रहा था, bro. And you said it. Third तो वही सोच रहा था.
The mutual love is so evident. Okay. Who is your dream collab for the two of you? I mean, you can go individually.
I would love to work with Skrillex, yo. Love to work with Skrillex.
Okay.
Like personally also, just like
would have been. There are those Skrillex, bro. He's like so heavy into Skrillex. He thinks Skrillex is a god.
Yeah.
Don't you?
No,
I get that.
I mean, I don't like that entire like celebrity god complex, but for me, he's like very up there in terms of like music. For me, he's one of the finest. So yeah, that would be a dream collab. Even like maybe maybe like an Eminem or something. If I get an opportunity to like ever like have like songs with that guy, that would be crazy. I mean, that would just be crazy, irrespective of whatever he's doing right now.
Okay.
I don't know. There's so many people. Yeah, there's so many.
I know. But the first name is like
is what matters.
Yeah.
First name Skrillex. Yeah.
Okay. Rawal?
I would have said Mac Miller, but he's dead now. It's been 3 years. Rest in peace to him. So I would say somebody like probably like J. Cole or Kendrick or Drizzy Drake certified, who's copying our artworks and shit. But yeah, definitely.
Gotta tell him that also, na.
I'll be like, you know
what the hell, yo.
Ghost writer tak theek tha. Ghost designer thoda zyada ho gaya, bro. But yeah, J. Cole or Kendrick.
Okay. Nice. Would you guys? Is there a genre you want to explore in the future?
Is there a genre we don't want to explore?
Would that... Okay.
No. There is for me.
Would that be giving away something?
Yeah, I would say
would we do black metal? Nah, I don't think so.
Would we do psychedelic trance? No.
No.
No. So those are things that definitely
you don't want.
Yeah. Bro, have you ever thought of drill though?
I don't know, man. If it happens, it happens.
Like drill comes. Yeah, psychedelic trance is not happening. Electronic music is happening, but not in the EDM sort of way.
EDM-ish
as far as I'm concerned, nah, man. So, but yeah, it's not like sab kuch, but for the most part, yes, man. Like if there's like some like Spanish guitar mixed with like we can fuck around and do anything.
Complex बात पूछी है हमारे लिए हमारा दिमाग घूमता रह जाएगा.
Okay. Would you call yourselves hip hop artists or just artists?
We're just artists, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just artists, man.
I think I kind of.
But I'm pretty much like a rapper first and foremost, because that's how I express myself. I don't know, what would you call me?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I would call you a rapper.
Okay.
First and foremost.
So yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would call myself a rapper. Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you one thing that I missed is how important are videos now for songs, in your opinion?
Very important.
Extremely important.
Extremely important.
Really?
It's easy. Yeah.
And like so many songs
to make a song also.
Yeah, I mean songs become like so much better if like the videos are good. Like I've had so many songs that are just like, wow, they're nice because the video is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't like the song, but then you listen to the video and like watch the video with the song, and then you're like, whoa.
But you know, the opposite has happened to us when we reacted to some songs. We're like, this was good on audio. The video distracted me. And I'm asking specifically because I've reacted to so much of young stunners and they don't release a lot of videos. It's just the audios. And those are enough to make you fall in love with the track. So I'm just wondering, like, for you guys.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah, but in terms of visuals, it's super important.
We're
at a point where we're realizing it's all hit and try, like everything.
Right.
We have like certain ideas. Like I try to come up with concept notes for videos and do like recce for locations and a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
And something that I've learned is like we'd rather have like a smaller number of videos, but they should be great instead of having videos for every other song.
Yeah.
Because it's not like our first and foremost area of expertise making a video, because first and foremost is making tracks and sonics. So matlab, as we grow the whole video budget, and there's a lot of things which are at the back end of making a video. Yeah, that is also growing. But we're definitely excited for the one that's dropping on 17th. That was fun.
So if you could have it your way, you would have a video for every track.
Yes, I definitely. Bilkul.
For sure.
Bharg, how comfortable are you in front of the camera? I just had to ask this.
I just like to smile in front of the camera, not a lot of other stuff. But that's mostly it. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting better at like more and more comfortable at it. So that's been there. So I mean, that's happening. So as I hope like things progress. I mean, that's a factor that I'm definitely like building my confidence towards.
Yeah, it's very cute because I watched Baat Ban Gayi ka video and you were just very cutely awkward in it, and I was like, I think he'll get there for sure. But
for sure,
it's cute. It's not. I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's nice. What is the last question I want to sort of get to is how important is external validation to an independent artist?
Important to have.
Very important.
To say it's not important, that's lying to myself. It is important.
Yeah, and just saying ki matlab, like we make music just for ourselves is also just a lie ki hum sab apne liye banate hain, because if we just made music for ourselves then we would
बैठ के सुन रहे होते.
I mean, I know this, but I wanted to hear it from you because a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm independent and I don't care about the numbers or the views, but it is important, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It is validating for sure.
I mean, that gives us motivation. If we see if we see our video doing like 100K in 2 days, the first single of our first album, we're like blown away by that. That tells us that we're doing something right, and we want to do things. We're putting so much into it. We want to be making
why wouldn't like you want
like I mean हम इतने घंटे यहाँ पे लगा रहे हैं, इतने घंटे हम म्यूजिक सुनते हैं, बनाते हैं, रातों को बैठते हैं. Don't we also like we're out here trying to entertain and like help people out or whatever you want to take from it, then we also deserve some sort of monetary or different sort of like benefits from it. So that's just that's it. If
like the validation is definitely important. I mean, why not? And the thing is if you make something that makes you happy, there is this part of you that always wants like the other person to also feel the same way. It's like if you like that movie and somebody doesn't like it and you're like, but I thought you liked the movie. Why didn't you like the movie? And the same way, we love the song. Why don't you love the song? Is there something wrong in it? Did we not do something right? And hence, I think that sort of validation is definitely important. I mean, to just otherwise हम अपने कमरे में गाने बना के खुश रह रहे होते हैं जो हम कर रहे थे कुछ साल पहले.
तो इसलिए तो मजा आता है ना जब when we go out there and perform and we see everybody like vibing to it.
Like people are also enjoying. Like people are enjoying what we are also enjoying doing. So I mean,
that is like one of the
like,
best feelings.
Exactly, that is so good. Like,
I'm glad you said that. How do you feel when you're performing? Have you had a chance to perform a lot since the album released?
Not a lot,
but a couple of chances.
Okay.
3.
The energy is different, right?
Performed has been great. We've just been getting better. By the third gig, we were like, I thought we killed our third one.
Yeah, we were pretty OP on that.
We killed it. Like, we're very hard on ourselves. And I wouldn't say this if we didn't, but anybody over there would tell you that we totally killed it. To the point that we couldn't do Jungli Kutta because Bharg hadn't practiced his water bottle throw properly. And उसने पानी फेंक दिया console पे और गिरा नहीं, but like the audio guy over there got a little pissed and he's like, you're not doing the track. So I was like, okay, we're not. Then everybody just started doing it a cappella. So we had the
entire crowd started singing it rather than us doing
it. Started singing Jungli Kutta a cappella. And then I pulled out the fucking inchy tape and I had like somebody slapping my chest like fat. Like, whoa. That was Gurek, right? I don't know.
Oh
Gurek. I'm pretty sure that was Gurek. Just by the hands I can tell. Yeah, that's Gurek. But yeah, like,
so, I mean,
it was crazy.
Those things are definitely validating. To say like, ये सब चीजें मजा नहीं आता, ये चाहिए नहीं, ये चाहिए यार, ये चाहिए, सब चाहिए तो ये भी चाहिए, मतलब बात खत्म.
सब चाहिए. Oh, beautiful note to end this on. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Patiently answering all my questions. But really, I just want to say you guys are playing like a seriously important role. This album means so much to so many people, and it really touched me on like different like emotional points. I think you saw that in the reactions. Aage and Aage Upar Hi Upar is my favorite. I don't know if I told you, it's my number one favorite on the track, and I think that's the one you wrote first, correct? So
the first song.
Yeah, just and then Sab Chahiye. But thank you so much, and I just wish you more power here on in the journey that you're on.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the support. Thanks for the support.
And reacting to all of these videos, it's been great watching all of them.
Watching you,
Like we're always just shout out Jyoti. We're always like so happy just going through these reactions, and you guys are just like so. Your reactions are so organic and such.
Organic.
It's just great to fucking watch. So that's why we love it. Organic is the word.
Always
is the vibe.
Very organic. I like that.
Thank you.
Yes. Bilkul. Even if like there's one thing that you don't understand, you say it. So like that's great. We don't want like.
We miss a lot of things. We don't understand a lot, and we're very open about it because you can't.
Yes, and that's fine. And that's fine. That's just how it is. And it's great that you're just so honest. And this was also awesome.
This was awesome.
This was also an awesome interview. Yeah, thank you for like having such a good interview and like asking us like some good questions.
This has been the best interview I've done.
Oh yay! I'm glad. I really wanted to like you guys to talk about the art and the whole process and everything. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll be back on Real Talk in the future after a few more drops.
For sure. Yes, ma'am. Let's go.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am. See you. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.